everyone, this is Candace. Welcome back to day 66 of my 100-day health challenge. So today is my first official day not being at school at all. It's been it's been a really good catch-up day in a way for like sleep and rest. It's so funny once you get used to, sorry, let me adjust my camera there for a second. There we go. It's really funny when you get so used to getting up early in the morning. And I've been getting up so early for drama and then even just for regular class that I'm not really as easily able to sleep in anymore. So I think I ended up sleeping in till 7 or 8 this morning and then getting up. And I still was sleeping in to an extent, but it was nice to just be able to wake up when I wanted. So I think this was one of the first mornings in forever that I did not set an alarm. And I think that's part of the thing too, is just not even having the pressure of an alarm to just wake up when I want, when my body says I'm ready. And that was fantastic. That was really nice. And I did end up taking a nap later in the day. I got pretty tired through the day a little bit, but it was still really nice. And I just kind of took it easy, did some things around the house, did some different little kind of mini projects. I was busy a couple times in there where I couldn't do, where I was working on something specific and talking to some people. But it was, still mostly a really just easygoing, relaxing day. I thought a lot about, where do I want to go from here? And I'm just kind of been really contemplating that, just really thinking about, what really, looking again at my motivation, looking again at my reasons, looking again at where I want to go, and just looking at the barrier that I've run into, the second one, and just how do I keep propelling myself forward? Not just giving up. I don't really, it's the interesting thing is I don't feel like giving up. I thought I might. I thought that this was going to be, because I've had so many failures in the past when I've tried to do things like this, that I really thought for a minute there, that's kind of why I was really just discouraged the other day, was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm going to give up. I'm going to stop. And I'm not. Yes, am I frustrated in some ways in trying to figure out where to go from here and how to make this successful? Yes. But am I giving up? No. And I think that was the great part to realize, is that I am not giving up. I am still going forward. I just am shifting focus of, okay, what am I doing that is not still quite working? What has happened that I'm not handling well? Looking back at, I did pretty well while I was sick. So it's not a matter of being sick. But is it a matter of what's going on? Is it the busyness? Is it the hecticness? Is it the stress? Is it I felt like I handled, honestly, like I said before, I handled this production week so much better than I have in the past. So it's why was it still not successful? And I think I told you some as I was reflecting kind of over the last couple of days, that I realized maybe there were some things that I was really successful in, and then some that I realized I still wasn't the most successful in. So I guess I'm processing through that and deciding, okay, well, what is, maybe I need to shift focus on how I'm doing things. So I'm trying this week, like I said before, I'm trying to not look at the scale every single day and just focus in on what I'm actually doing. And then I'm going to see how that measures up on Sunday when I do my weekly check-in, and just see, is there a difference? Did that help? So far I can tell you, it actually has helped not having, even though I actually found success to some extent in weighing in, I also have to say that what I'm realizing is that it's not the end of the world. I have done totally fine without weighing in and still felt motivated, still felt the ability to look at my decisions and decide, is this going to benefit or hurt or, blah, 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 without weighing in. I also realized that actually in some ways, because I was having some issues with my scale, and also just because I was switching back and forth a little bit, but even I wasn't even doing that too much, and they were pretty consistent. But it's it actually took off a ton of pressure that I didn't even realize maybe was there. And so I'm curious to see if that's partly what the problem is, and if I'm just putting too much pressure on myself without even realizing it. And I think that's going to be a huge factor. And I'm just curious to see what happens on Sunday, right? It'll be especially interesting considering that this week is one where You know, you get offered a lot of food, you get offered a lot of things. I'm still readjusting some of the things that I didn't realize I was even doing. And so I am curious to see where that goes. What I did, I realized that, excuse me, because my stomach had been bothering me, I told you this before, was that I hadn't even realized that I was using pop as a way to settle my stomach. And even though it wasn't a lot, I went back and looked and realized that because I wasn't actually tallying it, it was a lot more than I thought it was, even though it really, to me, it didn't feel like it. And it really wasn't in the sense of like what I could have been doing. But then I realized that's actually still a lot of pop. And so what I did to kind of try to counterbalance that, I do love carbonated beverages. I really do. And I really love that just fizzy pop feel. But I don't have to drink the pop. And the pop is the super sugary. It's the unnatural. I do not like diet. It makes me feel so sick with the artificial sweeteners. But I do like just the fizziness of it. I like the feel. I like the familiarity, the nostalgia that it brings, especially when I'm sick. It actually makes me feel better. And sometimes, I keep sparkling water around like all the time. And sometimes sparkling water is enough to cover that need for fizzy stuff. Sometimes with flavor, tea or juice or whatever it may be is enough to cover that gap, or coffee. But what I did, I realized one of the things I used to do to try to counterbalance the pop thing when I was sick was kombucha. And so I went ahead and I realized I hadn't bought kombucha in forever. So I went ahead, and there was actually a sale on it today. So I went ahead and actually got some kombucha. I didn't get a lot because it still has sugar. It still has natural sugars. And even if they're natural, and then some are, with the different things in it, it's still sugary. It's still something I don't want to be drinking a lot of. So what I did, I got my bigger bottles of kombucha that were on sale, and I got 3 different flavors. I got like a blood orange cinnamon. I got I can't remember what it's called. It's a mixture of passion fruit and, passion fruit and berry, some kind of berry. So I got a mixture of that. And then I got a mixture, it's like a gingerade one. So it's like ginger ale, but kombucha. And so I got 6 of those, and man, they last forever if you have them in the fridge. Well, you have to have them in the fridge because they can do weird things if you don't. But I have 6 of them, and they last forever. I really should have probably got more, but I wanted to just start out with this, and I may get some more. We'll see. But I have 6 large ones, and then what I do is I can drink small increments. So usually I can split each of those bottles into like 3 or 4 servings, and that covers that need or that nostalgia for carbonation and flavor when I'm sick. That has worked in the past. And in fact, it's been better because of its health benefits. So, and most of it's natural sugars instead of added sugar. So I am going to try that again. And just while I'm getting back into the swing of things, back into the hang of things, my stomach is getting better with my supplements. It's getting better feeling all the time. So as that improves and I still feel this need for the nostalgic carbonated beverage that helps make me feel not so sick, I'm going to do the kombucha because I think that'll be a huge help and go a long way into fixing the problem. So that's one strategy I'm doing. And I don't know about you. I know it's hard when you like pop. I actually don't have much of a problem. Well, I say this. I genuinely don't necessarily have I don't necessarily have a problem dropping pop. But I do when I really feel actually like I need it with my stomach. My stomach is a huge weakness. I've had so many problems with it in the past that it literally is this almost like fear and anxiety that I get when it acts up, even if it's not something big. It's just so tied into things that I've dealt with in the past that I that's like where my pitfall is when it comes to like pop and things like that. And that's what I'm realizing as I look at my obstacles. When my stomach is acting up, when I'm dealing with these things, I get back into some not so great habits because the familiarity of the pop to soothe the stomach, the familiarity of like saltine crackers or plain things like that are more bread, gluten heavy, that used to be what I would do with my stomach. So it's like I have to get out of this fear and anxiety mentality surrounding my stomach because it is improving with supplements. And in fact, the pop and things are not helping. So I need to get back into that mentality of like, okay, hey, this is an effect from what you've dealt with in the past. This is almost a trauma tied to like when your stomach is acting up, or not even stomach, just digestive system, because it wasn't even really my stomach. It turned out to be more like my kidneys and liver. And so, but for me, it's almost like a genuine trauma when things in my digestive system act up. I get scared sometimes, and I get very nervous and anxious, and I revert back to what I'm familiar with. And those are not always good things, like the pop and the crackers and the bread and that kind of stuff that helps soothe it and settle it. And so I have to get past. This is a barrier I have to get past. And so I'm doing some of the strategies that I didn't even think of to be prepared for. I still have not got the ginger beer or ginger ale. I got the Gingerade kombucha, but I do actually want to get some ginger ale. And again, I'll do the same thing with the portions because it's still sweet. So I will cut the portions into like probably thirds or fourths. And that should be enough. And it will at least be far better than the pop. The other thing for some of you, I would say, like for example, I know my brother in the past has drank Zevia, where it has the stevia in it and it's supposed to be like pop. I know other people do. There's other pop replacements and things. I can't do those. I can't stand them. So if you're like me, maybe try kombucha. I don't know. I don't know what your thing is. I know some people get those like carbonation machines or something, and they like carbonate their own stuff. I don't know how those work. I don't know if you use them. If you use them, let me know how they work, because I've never tried them. I know some people just add like soda water or like sparkling water to juice. I've done that in the past. Like I'll get a flavored juice or something and then I'll add water to it. That can be hard and tricky because again, juices can be really sweet depending. Sometimes it's a natural sweetness. Sometimes you can accidentally pick up one that's had things added to it. So just be careful on that. If you juice your own fruit, maybe that's when you add the carbonation. Just be aware it will kind of take down the flavor some because you're going to have the water in there, but it still can work. So personally, I do kombucha if you want to try that. I would say if you like different pop like replacements, what kind of pop replacements do you guys like? Comment, because I know there's like tons of them, but I hate them. But I mean, I hate all the ones I've tried. So if you have suggestions, I'd love to try them. Because genuinely this is a problem when my stomach acts up. I'd love to hear what you do. But I do not like Zevia. I do not, because I really don't like stevia, the flavor of it. I don't like, a lot of the other sweeteners I really just don't like. They make me feel sick, and I can tell when they are in something for the most part. I know some people can't. I totally can for most of them. I'm not so bad with monk fruit sweetener, but I know there's some still debate on whether that's like good or not. For the most part, I've heard good things about it, and when I've done research, it's not harmful, at least I should say, like some of the other sweeteners they're finding. But we also don't have a ton. I mean, I know it's been used for like thousands of years in Asia, and so it seems like it's fine, and it's been used in, I think it was in traditional medicine, certain ones, I believe I'm saying that right. So I know that's potentially, so I've had some really good desserts at school before using the monk fruit sweetener that someone's made, and it's been really good. So I don't know, that's up to you. You can do your research and decide. I personally do not like artificial sweeteners, and I do not like pop replacements. So that's why kombucha kind of and some of the others work for me. I will say monk fruit sweetener is also more natural, obviously, than, and I know stevia technically is. It's just that, I don't know, I have issues with that one just taste-wise, and it messes with my stomach sometimes, and then so anyways, just, I would do your research and see what works best for you, but I would say maybe kombucha is an option. Maybe try it. I know some people don't do well with it. They don't like the taste, or it can actually bother their stomachs if they're sensitive to certain things. I personally have found huge benefits out of it, and it also does have the health benefits and advantages of what it even is. So anyways, that's just some thoughts on that. So then tomorrow for Thanksgiving. So I'm going over to my sister and brother-in-law's house, and they always make amazing, delicious, healthy food. So I'm actually not super concerned about nutrition for tomorrow. I will say that I'm going to be careful on portion sizes. I actually don't tend to feel like granted, for where I'm at right now, my portions would be considered overeating technically, but for me, they are not. They're smaller. Excuse me, it is dry today. But I feel like I'm still going to do really well. I'm going to eat a lot of vegetables. I'm going to really emphasize the vegetables and the salad and the fruits. And I'm going to minimize, for sure desserts. I'm not even sure how much desserts I'm going to eat. If I do, it's going to be very minimal, and that's going to be my main thing for the day. And when it comes to proteins and things, that's where I might just be really careful to kind of start small. And then, if I still, and like, that's the other thing too, is slowing down when you eat, which I think is actually some ways easier on holidays because you talk a lot more, you hang out a lot more than if you're obviously by yourself or just with a couple people. So if you're with family and friends, sometimes it's easier to slow down because you're talking and you can actually process, because your food takes a bit to digest. So you need to not be rushing in what you're eating. You'll probably feel full faster instead of feeling over full because you didn't wait and you ate more and more, and then you realized, oh my gosh, I was full like 15 minutes ago and now I've overeaten. So if that's a problem for you, I would say then talk some, or just slowly eat your food, enjoy it, let it process, let it digest, and you will feel full quicker. Well, not quicker, but you will notice it faster and you will be able to stop or slow down. And then I would say don't feel shy, depending on where you're at, to ask to take leftovers. If you're really wanting to try something but you're full, don't force it. Just decide to take some home with you. Most people, especially if it's family and friends, are not going to mind. If they do, maybe like choose your top priority. I know this sounds silly, but maybe choose your top priority foods, eat those first, and then if you can't take some home, then you at least got the ones you wanted, right? So I would say that is a good, important one. Make sure you're chewing your food. It's amazing. I can't remember the exact number, but it's amazing how many times we're technically supposed to chew our food, like a bite of food, before we swallow it. I think it's like 20 times. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like 15 to 20 times you're supposed to actually chew each bite of food before you swallow it. And I'm like, we typically chew it. I don't know about you, but like when I actually pay attention to what I am and when I talk to other people, we chew it like maybe 5 or 6 times and then it's gone, right? And so it's like we're supposed to be chewing longer. So maybe focusing on that. And then there's a lot of different strategies. Think about where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. I know it sounds ridiculous to do this, but it's like it is actually important when you go to like a holiday meal, or just even a larger meal, something like that, something unfamiliar. It is actually important and relevant. So I would just encourage you to kind of come up with a little bit of a plan, know yourself, know how you do, and then go from there. So I'm probably going to leave it there for tonight. I'm going to go eat my dinner, actually. Got to go get it and sit down and eat. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow, looking forward to hanging out, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys, whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or not, I hope you just have a wonderful day celebrating just the harvest and the blessings we've been given during the fall and this preparation for going into the winter season, this hopefully abundant bounty. I know that's cliche, a little cheesy, but really I do hope that you have what you need going into the winter, and that this is just a time to celebrate what you've been given in this harvest season, whether that's food, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's stuff in your job. I don't know what that looks like for you, but whatever harvest you've received, whatever blessings, even the small ones, I hope that it gives you that warmth and that comfort as we go into the winter season, as we celebrate the next big thing in the year, and just that no matter what you celebrate or observe, that I just hope you have a day full of thanks and blessing and happiness. And that's kind of it for today. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.